Greetings, this is Sean, and today I am going to be making a new desk. It is a corner desk, and you'll get to see it at the very end. So, surprise, surprise. Anyway, these are all the parts. Actually, that piece there was extra. I actually accidentally cut one too many of those. And it's going to be a fairly unique design. And anyway, this is how I'm putting it all together. Basically, I have all the parts that were up there in the top right hand corner before I put the two squares on there are cut out of 1/32 inch basswood, and all the other parts are cut out of 1/16 inch basswood. The parts up there in the center of the screen at the top are going to be the legs, and I'm going to start with the top section. Those two pieces there form a small cabinet that fit in the front or in the back corner. And everything should fit together nicely. Although you will see here later on that I do have problems with the doors that I put on. It's intended to have a piano hinge type of hinge, and I can't do that kind of hinging with this small stuff, so I had to improvise, and there's going to be new vent holes on the side instead of being nice and tightly put together. Anyway, you'll see what I mean. Anyway, here I am just gluing up the sides of the upper cabinet that will sit on top of the work surface, and here I'm just taking a dental pick and, as you can see, putting glue on one of the sides, and pretty self-explanatory. Just want to make sure, because the long piece, the short piece that's in my left hand has to go onto the longer piece on the right hand side, so I was just making sure which piece I had in which hand before I started gluing. And I'm just using the grid on my mat, obviously, to make sure that it's square. And I did turn it upside down, which I really didn't need to turn it upside down, but I did anyway. It's going to end up looking the same regardless of where that actual joint is at. So here I am just getting ready to glue that onto the top surface. And in case you were wondering what happened to my mini glue bottle that I've been using, it doesn't work anymore. I need to clean it out really, really well, and so I just didn't want to take the time to do it now. But it got really clogged. The top of it got left open, not just the tip, but the entire top got left open, and the whole bottle kind of dried up on me. So anyway, that's why I haven't been using it. I need to get me a new one. So anyway, and here I am. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, thank you whoever it was that said it, suggested the use of Legos for a square instead of the playing card, that they use that. So here I made this little square out of Legos, and each one of the Lego, the thickness of that size of Lego is actually, I think it's 1/8 of an inch. So I can actually make measurements. That's 1 1/8 inch tall, because there's 5 levels to it there. So it kind of gives me just an idea of how tall things are and that type of thing. I thought that was kind of interesting, but it's also nice and square. So I'm going to start using that in small spaces where I can't get a playing card into and whatnot. So thank you again, whoever it was who suggested that. And here I am gluing there's a little shelf that goes inside of that cabinet. And I won't be putting the top on until the very end, so that I'm able to work on the doors easily. I think I felt that if the top was on, it would be harder to work on the doors. So, and here I am making the legs. There's 3 legs, obviously. Just gonna make sure I don't have to worry too much about it being square, because those triangles which form shelves in each of the legs are square, and so I can just use those to make sure that the legs themselves are square. Just really increasing the speed here to get past through these next 2 legs that are all built the same way. Okay, and after giving everything some time to dry and cure, all the glue to cure, it's time to start assembling. And the legs, you're looking, of course, at the underside of the desk, and each of the legs, there's one leg that had a little bit of something happened on the wood, so I'm putting that one to the back. That's why I was looking at each of the legs. So, anyway, which is the one I'm doing here. Here, I've got a little weight here that I was going to hold it down, but it just kept tipping over, so I decided to use it to stabilize underneath. There's my computer. That's how close I am sitting to it. I was just checking to make sure I had that position in the right direction. Now that was the easy part. Easy part is that was it. This was a little bit more difficult, doing the shelves, only because everything was so small. Everything's out at 1/32 inch basswood. And that has to be positioned kind of pretty needs to be pretty precise where it goes, because you got to make sure that it clears the edge of the walls and whatnot. And so I just used my scale ruler there to make sure that it's supposed to be like 1 inch from the top, 7/8 of an inch from the bottom, and 3 inches in from the side, or something like that. I don't remember what the dimensions were. So I just had to make sure that I had everything all so that it wouldn't hit the wall when the drawers close. Or yeah, the doors close. And then each of the shelves that you'll see me build here, they're supposed to be 4 inches apart. Well, in true scale, 4 inches apart. So here I'm just checking to make sure that it's not hitting, which it didn't, so got it right. And just in case you're wondering, the rubber band that you see on those flat-nosed tweezers, that's so I can use them as a vise or a grip, or I can just slide the rubber band down towards the tip, and it will hold it in place, so I don't have to keep squeezing it if I'm holding something for a long time. So, little tip for you. Here I am making the second one. Get my big head out of the way. By the way, in the next part of this, when I put the drawers on, I lost my footage for this angle, so everything that you're going to see is from the front view. My phone that I used to record on overheated, so it shut off after about 2 minutes of being on. So anyway, just to let you be aware. So anyway, those are the doors for the upper cabinet, which is what I'm going to start attaching hinges to next. So this is the angle that you'll see the rest of the video from. That's what I was getting at. And here I am, I take the emery board with the hinges and I kind of rough up the surface so that the glue will stick to it a little bit better. Let's speed things up a little bit. And when I did it, I forget why I ended up taking it off. Oh, no, I hadn't actually glued it to the desk. But I had accidentally put too much glue on it, and I was afraid that the hinges were going to get stuck, glued shut. So, got an airplane going over us. But anyway, that's why I took it off of there and moved the hinges around just to make sure that it didn't get stuck, which I got lucky. And that's basically it. Oh, I gotta put the top on still, too. The doors, because of the way I hinged it, the doors ended up being a little bit too big, across, and so they kept hitting each other. So I had to trim off just a little bit off of each one until they finally were able to close properly. And the top actually acts as a stop so that it won't go back too far. So, which is what I'm getting ready to put on now, of course. But anyway, so I had to do a little bit of trimming on that. And so, anyway, that's my new desk, corner desk. Still a little bit too much, but now it's good. So you can see the big gaps where the hinges are at, but that's alright. Anyway, that's it. I'm not going to paint it in this one, obviously. This may be a giveaway at some point in time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this, and have a better day, as I always say.